What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Natty News Daily podcast. Dan and myself, joined by one of my clients and latest OCB Women's Physique Pro, Jennah McIntyre. Jennah, what's up?
Hello. Happy to be here.
We're recording this Tuesday, so we are 3 days post show. Jennah's feeling good, coming off of the show high, but we're not even really going to talk about the show that much because the show was all fine and dandy, but the journey to get there, not so much. So, as a coach, this was probably one of the most challenging preps, not in the client's execution of the prep, but the challenges we faced, throughout prep and some confusing responses from your body and just trying to figure out why things weren't working or how to solve problems, right? So I think this is going to be a really good, informative podcast for not only athletes, but maybe coaches too, because, these are things that happen and you can't forecast them. And sometimes you just got to try things and hope things work. And that's where, a coach and client really can be collaborative. And, we got a positive outcome at the end of it, but getting there was not super easy. So, Jennah, let's give a bit of backstory on your competitive history because you had competed before working with me. So briefly go back to last April.
Last April, I did my first bodybuilding show. I powerlifted previously and I wanted to switch it up and try bodybuilding. So I did my first show, the Toronto Naturals. I did the figure division and I got second overall. It was a good show. I did a 16-week prep. Probably should have been a bit longer, which my coach even said, but at the time, the timeline worked with me and I just wanted to see if I'd even like it.
Yep.
So I gave it a go. It was a grind for sure. Definitely a different experience on this one, just in the sense of I feel like it was a lot more of a grind, a lot more cardio, and like the typical, food was a lot lower and yeah. But I mean, I just wanted to kind of switch it up and try something new, a new coach. I think I'd followed you for a long time. I knew a couple people who had used you as a coach, just seen your name at shows, and then I think I just messaged you on Instagram,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we just kind of hit
Went
off.
from there. What was your weight change over that first prep? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was 152 to 130.
So 20 pounds or so, relatively standard. So yeah, so you did that show and then jumped into the off season. Were you with your coach during that off season, or did you just run it yourself?
Yeah, I reversed out with her, and then I kind of got to a point where I wanted to kind of do my own thing. I had a good understanding of it, and I just wanted to
Yep.
kind of take the pressure off of it and see if I do it again. I honestly didn't know if I'd compete again. Not
Yeah.
that they were rough. I just wasn't 100% sure if I don't know if
It
it's
was your
something.
thing.
Yeah, 100%. So I tried it, loved it, and then afterwards I was like, well, it's more of a lifestyle than it needs to be like a date. And I think that's the difference between last year. It was a date for me, where
Sure.
this year it's lifestyle, and now I have bigger goals. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like if someone does want to pursue the sport and climb the ladder, right? Whether that's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, there's got to be an adoption of like this is kind of how I live my life.
Yeah.
Not that you're a robot like you are on prep 24/7, 365, but like there's an element of like I train consistently, I eat in a certain manner, I
Yeah.
probably don't abuse alcohol or other substances. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important to say because if you are someone who is competing for the first time and you're like, okay, there's a date for sure, but then after that, you kind of graduate up to like, all right, like this is now a long-term commitment.
Go downhill hard and fast, right? Because you're like, well, I didn't get this food for this amount of time, so now I can eat
Yeah.
all this. It's just not good.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming into basically right early into the start of January, yeah, we kind of linked up and it was like, okay, I want to do this show, which was the CPA Stephanie Worsfold Classic in May. And I remember saying like, okay, I want you leaner.
Yeah.
And you were always very much like, yo, whatever you want, like whatever you say goes. I'm not really gonna question, right? Like you acknowledged that like, yeah, I probably could have been leaner, especially through my lower body. And what is that gonna take? We'll do it.
Yeah.
And Your prep for that first show was super seamless, I would say. We
Yeah.
had relatively consistent refeeds across prep. Like, near the end of it, like I would not at all call your calories red line low. Cardio was not a red line high. Like we got there easy, I would say.
Yep.
Agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got her stats pulled up here. So you were around 130 on stage last year. And the lowest we saw before the Stephanie show, we had touched 125 point something, a high 125, right? So that was the end of peak week. So realistically, she's probably four-ish pounds leaner. And we were happy with that, right? Your thing, and I'll give you all the credit in the world. Whether this is deeply true or not, it's what you always voiced was I don't care about placings, I just want to beat my last package.
100%. And that's why I had a challenge with New York, but we'll circle back to
We'll
this.
get back there. So that mindset was great because it kind of just let us go to the first show being like, all right, we've beaten last year.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, we've beaten your last package, right? You were leaner. We repeated figure like you did, but we jumped in women's physique as well. Unfortunately, there was no other competitors, but it was an opportunity to get your feet wet in a different division, which I was super in favor of, given your physique, and it was good. So then we didn't really have plans for after the Stephanies until like very close to it, I think, right? Like it wasn't till maybe a couple weeks out that we're like, yo, if we're gonna do another show, maybe this one, maybe that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you were very much like Stephanie's for sure. After that, pretty open ended, if at all.
I didn't want the stress on it. I was like, let's just ride out Stephanie's, bring a better package, and then go back to the drawing board.
Can you kind of briefly tell the listeners about like your life, right? It says real estate on your thing, but you're married, your family, real estate, the whole thing.
Yes, for sure. So I have, real quick, I have two sisters that always did bodybuilding. So that's what kind of sparked me into bodybuilding. I used to make fun of them, and here we are. I have a great husband who's super supportive of bodybuilding, which literally is like a game changer for this, as many of you know.
Yeah.
Uh, Super active lifestyle. I have two dogs, always walking them. So I think that really helped a lot with kind of easing into the prep and the cardio and whatnot. And then real estate too is obviously my career. So I always wanted to prioritize
Yeah.
like my mental health, my well-being, my hormones. I never wanted anyone around me to suffer because I was in prep, because I know
Yep.
last year at the end I for sure was a little hungry, a little grumpy, irritable, which happens for sure, but I wanted it to be manageable and I didn't want the people around me to suffer or my job or my lifestyle to sacrifice in any way. So that's where that was the biggest priority. I think I vocalized that from the beginning too, is it really
Yeah.
depends on the time of year with work because it's a busy time of year for work.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure that I was, had my head on straight the whole time.
Yeah, and that was something that I was kind of always keeping in mind too, was like I don't want that North Star for you to get impacted as best possible, right? Like
Yeah.
is it foolproof that we're going to get there without you being tired and hungry? Of course not, but like let's try to mitigate that as best we can. And I think leading to Stephanie's, we did a great job at that.
Definitely 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now the chaos begins.
Totally.
So we come out of Stephanie's. I got the spreadsheets right up here. So we come out of Stephanie's and you're feeling good, right? We come out of the weekend, no real problems, no binges post show, huge, right? That was one thing that, you're always, coaches listening to this, I'm sure can testify that you're like, okay, I really hope this maybe Sunday or Monday check-in is not ugly because it can go haywire in a hurry. But shout out to Jennah for managing that well. So we come out of peak week into that kind of first week. So this puts us 5 weeks out from the OCB show. Late 129s, right? So pretty much holding peak week numbers, which is great. And now we're 5 weeks out, and we were like, okay, we're going to do this OCB show, take a crack at a new organization, potentially jump in either division. We were kind of hemming and hawing about what that might look like, but didn't have to make that decision right away. And we were like, okay, we want to get leaner, right? Stephanie's was good. Let's chase down great. So I was thinking like if we could hit, early 120s, right? Shave off another 3 or 4 or 5 pounds, maybe that would be cool. You were, again, receptive, all for it. So checked in, I think it was the Monday. Things were in a good spot. So I was like, okay, we were dropping prior to this on the current stats, calories and stuff. So I was like, let's just ride it out for a few more days, see what happens. So this is the first increase we see. Little uptick on the scale. No worries. We're calm. Easy peasy. Let's make an adjustment. We hadn't made an adjustment in quite some time, so we'll make a small calorie change. Check in a couple days later. Scales up again. So now we're like 129. So we're like 3 or 4 pounds up from the lowest we'd seen. That's when we start to sweat a little bit. So so now we're 4 weeks out. And you mentioned here cycle time, right? We'd seen throughout prep, historically there was ebbs and flows on the scale based on the time of the month. So we're like, okay, maybe we'll chalk this up to that, right? A couple days go by, all of a sudden, for the first time in 1, 2, almost 3 weeks, we see a 130 on the scale.
Ooh.
Oof.
Awesome.
Now we're stressing.
Yeah, big time.
Tell me, obviously I know what you've told me, but tell me how you were feeling.
Oh, so defeated. The food, I think at that point the food had came down, the cardio had gone up. We were like, you know what, let's not leave any stone
Yep.
unturned. And I was like, full time, let's do it. Like, what was it, 3 weeks? Like,
Yeah,
go
by
for
that
it.
point we're heading into 3 weeks out.
Yeah. So with a peak week in there too, right? So I'm like, whatever it takes, like I'll do anything.
Yep.
Doing the work, feeling it. Food was dropped, cardio was increased, the fatigue's high. You're that awkward timeout where you're excited, but you're also like,
You
if
still
I'm
got
seeing
time.
if I'm seeing change is great. If I'm not, and then to see that scale go up was just like, yeah, hit me like,
Ugh.
yeah. And my poor husband, he just knew. Like I would wake up and you can just feel it, right? Like you don't even
Yeah.
step up. No, at
Yeah.
that point it's like, and I was like, my face was holding water, my stomach was a stent. Like I just looked inflamed, even in my check-ins. Like it's no, you could look at that and be like, ooh, you
Yeah.
probably thought I was binge eating. That's the thing. Like I had no rhyme or reason. So definitely defeating for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, clearly your body was saying like, yo, I'm kind of hurting right now. I I'm inflamed, I'm watery, I'm tired. And, you know, kind of common practice is when that happens, you try to pull off the gas a little bit. You're like, okay, let's give your body a breath of fresh air. And but we're also looking at the timeline we have and we're saying like, okay, like we don't have a lot of time to like get this breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the tricky part is with prep, you have a timeline. There's a date that you're aiming for, right? It's not like a open ended that, if you're just trying to lose some weight, like, oh, what's a week or two of maintaining or just like letting your body coast because there's
Yeah.
no end date, right? So I think that's when I probably messaged James and Dan being like, hey, this is where we're at. What do we do? Right. So I was like, all right, after chatting with them and kind of bouncing some ideas in my head, because looking at that spreadsheet there, we had got up to 134.6.
Awesome. The food lower and cardio higher.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So
like,
now we're knocking on 10 pounds up
yeah.
from the low at 3 weeks out.
And you're trying to stay calm, stay zen, and your cortisol, you're obviously like WTF. Like,
Yeah. You're like, what is happening here? And I because of how frequently you were checking in, I could see the visual. Like I knew I got to the point where I knew when the photos come in what the scale was going to say. I
yeah,
knew what your 125 looked like. I knew what your 129 looked like. Like I had it down pat, right? So that's when it was like, okay, Jennah, we're going to pull out some hard stop here. I want you doing no cardio. You can walk the dog, but no formal cardio, no elliptical, no Stairmaster, no nothing. And we're gonna bump food up. So her calories were 1,200. We went up to 1,350, all carbs. So a decent bump, right? Like 1350 might like sound low, but when you're getting 150 calories of carbs at that point, like that's a pretty good little.
Yeah.
And cardio was 5 65-minute sessions. So we dropped that right to zero. Within 5 days, she goes from 134 and a half to 125.4.
Yeah.
Nice. We did it. We fixed it. No problem. And visually better, right? I remember that Friday because we did a posing call that day. Because the 125 going into Stephanie's we were digging for, and this 125 was on the back of no cardio and more carbs. You just looked fresher. Your lines were deeper. Your body just kind of looked like it was brought back to life. So we were like, okay, we're now 2 weeks out and problem solved. This is great.
Yeah.
And we did a posing call, went through some stuff, did a little troubleshooting, had a little powwow, made sure everything was all right, made sure Jennah's head was on straight, made sure my head was on straight. And next morning, I get a message. I can feel myself stressed. I can feel myself inflamed. And sure enough, 126. Like, okay, let's keep going, right? Let's just ride it out. I'm just going to rhyme off the next couple days' numbers. 126, 128.5, 129.8, 131.4. Atta girl.
Yeah. Got him.
Yeah. And maybe Dan, you can jump in here because I was messaging you guys every day that week.
Poor guy. Poor Carrie too.
Yeah. Yeah, we should get Carrie on. Dan, what was going through your head kind of, hearing this and seeing this happen real time? Because I remember specifically you said, "Wow, her physique is so volatile. This is crazy."
Yeah, pretty much something along those lines. I mean, especially, you know, being someone that's around that like 125 weight, like 10 pounds is crazy. I mean, that's like Leary or I like gaining like 15, right? So, like, I can't even like comprehend that. Like, for me, like a 3, 4 pound
Yeah.
swing is a lot. Like, 15, I'm like, that's like, I don't even know what I would do to even like do that, right? Like even if I tried, I don't know if I could do that, right? Like it was just like this is just crazy, you know.
Yeah. So Jenna, we get that taste of like we made it. We fixed it. And
Yeah.
then it swings back. Now how are you feeling? Oh, I lost your audio. Damn technology.
It's weird.
Can you hear
Had been
me?
working.
There we go.
Weird.
Gotcha now.
Um, I think I was just defeated. Like at that
Yeah.
point, I think I wasn't even getting excited for the show because I didn't want to be let down again, honestly. So
Yeah.
it was just defeating. Like I was excited and then I wasn't excited and then I was going and then I wasn't going. And I'm like, it was literally 1 hour at a time because one day at a time is clearly volatile. I think it was just like poor Connor would come home one day and I'd be like, we're going to New York. And the next day I'd be like, we're not going. And I canceled the hotel. And he's like, okay. Like he
Yeah,
eggshot, right? Like, and you too, probably every time your phone went off, you're probably like, hmm. Because it was just literally one
for
hour at a
sure.
time. Just
Yeah.
defeating.
Yeah, and that's when, the conversation of not going to the show was starting to kind of really come to light, right? Is like, look, like, your whole thing was like, I just want to be better than what I've presented before. And, you know, win, lose, or draw, like I just want to get up there being better than Stephanie's, right? Like I've beaten last year, but now I want to beat Stephanie's. Like I know what I can bring and I know that I'm capable of being better, but so why is this not happening, right?
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing was because we had seen that check-in and we saw what it looked like at 125 and we were both like, sweet, we're back, like
Yeah.
we're back, whatever. And then it was just 2 days later, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So I remember I then, I'm chatting with James and Dan being like, dude, like I don't understand. Like this makes no sense. And I remember chatting with Cliff, my coach, He's been doing this 3 times as long as me, and he's probably seen everything under the sun. And I was like, hey, can I call you quick? And he's like, yeah, man. So I'd sent him a side by side of like, the 134 swing to 125, and I'm like, dude, this is like a week apart. And he's like, usually there's two situations that are happening right now. Number one is she's cheating and not telling you.
I
She's
wish.
binging. She's binging and not telling you. And I remember saying to you, like, man, I wish you were eating your face off because we could make this super simple. And I was like, I don't see it, man. I really don't. I don't think I had told you this, Jennah. I was like, I don't see it. He's like, man, I've had clients like years later been like, you remember that prep? It was so hard. Yeah, I was eating a bunch of shit. I'm like, I'm not buying it. Truthfully, I did not think you were cheating. I'm like, because it was just such a quick, like rapid swing that it was like, if she was binging, like I feel like I would see a bit more of like prediction from it. Like it was just like boom, 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 boom. And he's like, or her body's had enough. And I was like, I think it's that one. He's like, at this point, and Dan, you can attest to this, is what James said too. Like at this point, you're just trying to like steer the ship of like, okay, how do we just land this where we need to? Because we're not gonna probably get further, but if we can get again, like you mentioned earlier, that like that 125 we saw was good,
Yeah,
right? If we sent that to OCB, we both could have been like, you know what? Like this was definitely better than Stephanie's by at least some percent, right?
goal achieved, right? Like that was it.
Yeah. So Cliff, my coach, had said how she usually respond to refeeds, and I said, well, historically, like at least the first part of prep, like we would refeed on Saturday, new low on Sunday, refeed on Saturday, new low on Sunday. Historically, like your success ratio with that was very high. So he was like, try it. You got 2 weeks, try it. So okay. So he did the refeed and scale bumped up. 133.7. Rock on.
Yep.
I'm like, well, that ain't it. So then there's like a bit of optimism that maybe that's just like maybe some glycogen, like she filled back out a little bit. And you're sending me post-workout photos, and we're trying to at least see how things are looking. And I'm like, okay, maybe things will trickle down, trickle down. They kind of did. I think we had seen a 128 and then 130 again, and now we're a week and a half out.
Higher than Stephanie's. Yeah.
Yeah, higher than Stephanie's. Yeah, we're
Offering
basically
a better package, which was the goal, right? Like that's
yeah,
where
yeah. So Friday, you're like, all right. So a week out from OCB. You're like, I can't go.
it just
And
it wasn't a better package.
yep, yep. You're like, I can't do this. I can't get up there, and I get it. I'm a competitor. Dan, you're a competitor. James is a competitor. Cliff's a competitor. Like, we get it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you want to step on stage presenting something you're proud of, right? And even if you're like you get up there, if you're not confident, you're not going to enjoy yourself. You're not going to pose properly. Like the day is going to drag. And I remember you said one time, you're like, I don't want to resent this, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to come out of this being like, fuck that, man. Like that sucked. That wasn't fun. I've
Yeah.
traveled. I've spent money. I loved this for so long. Now I fucking hate it, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't want that. You don't want to get there. And I think it was a tough pill to swallow, probably for you, being like, man, I wanted to do it, right? I wanted to see this through.
Yeah, 100%. And a week out is like that fine line of is it your ego speaking where you want to bring a better package and you're not going to be happy and you're burning the candle out, or am I going to tippy toe for another 5 days and maybe see another 10 pounds of who knows, right? Like it was just that constant battle of will I
Yeah,
look back at the year and go, wow, I was a week out. Why didn't I go to New York?
yeah,
100%. But in the mindset that I was in on that Friday, I was like, I don't care what it takes. Like I'm not in headspace.
yeah. And it was just, I think the unpredictability was probably, weighing on you a lot. I mean, I could see it in our conversations, right? That like, you were basically waking up every day, throwing a dart with your eyes closed, being like, well, what do I get today? Because I've done everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I have zero idea if it's going to yield me anything good, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you shut her down.
Yep. Friday,
So all
Sunday.
right, Friday. So we're, week and 1 day out from the show.
Yeah.
She quits. I'm
Get
kidding.
out.
He's out. I'm out. Can't do it.
Return my t-shirt.
Yeah, fuck. So hey, it's all good. You know what? It is what it is. Bodybuilding careers are long. This is a drop in the bucket. Take some time this weekend. Go out for dinner with your man. Take a breath of fresh air. And that was it. I didn't give you macros. I didn't give you anything else. I said, Jennah, just chill.
Yeah, you said let go of the reins.
Let go of the reins.
A little bit.
Let go of the reins. So that was it. Check in on Monday. We'll chat on Monday. Off season begins. Off we go.
Yeah.
And that was it. Right? Sunday afternoon, 2:30-ish. I'm meal prepping. My phone pings. Jennah McIntyre.
Thanks.
Jennah McIntyre. She goes,
Day early.
yeah, she's early for her Monday check-in. She's eager to start the off season.
Colin.
Ugh, I feel terrible. I've emailed the promoter that I can't go. I feel bad. Should I go? Should I not go? It's sick 5 days at this point. Like, ugh. So I know. I get it. Trust me. I want you to go as bad as you do. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we should go. Like, I don't know if your body's going to let us do it, blah, blah, blah. Well, what if we just like, I don't know, like full send on depletion? And I was like, we could. What's the worst that could happen? You're like, well, I could blow up again. I'm like, well, that's true, but realistically,
Been there, done that, right?
yeah, I mean, we know how that's going to happen.
You're like, well, I've been there.
So it's the only thing we didn't do, right? Up to that point, we didn't try. And Cliff said when I was chatting with him early on was like, when someone's body is saying no, pushing them harder rarely helps,
Yeah. And I didn't
right?
want to put that on you too, because I know I had asked you, are we doing a depletion heading into it? And you were like, I don't think so. We're going to play it safe. And if we can coast into it at that 125, we will.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think I was like, maybe if I suggest it, and then you won't feel like the pressure was necessarily on you, right? Like,
I'm very glad you said that because we're going to get to that because I think I know why this worked. So I said, all right, if you want to do it, let's do it. You're like, fuck it, let's go. I said, all right, stay tuned. Updates coming your way. So that night, plan sent. High water, no carbs, chicken and fish and vegetables. Let's do it. Fuck it. Full send.
oh,
Let's go. So I didn't know what you did on the weekend because I didn't tell you what to do.
yeah.
Right? I didn't know, is this post-show binge in my feelings? Is this went out for a responsible dinner? I don't know.
Yeah.
So Monday check-in, you're 129. So you're sub 130 at the start of the week. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. She didn't eat her face off. So, all right, here we go. So I'm going to pull up the peak week. This is bonkers. Okay, so Monday, 129.3. 7 liters of water, 45 minutes of cardio, 1,000 calories of just grit and determination.
Yep.
43 grams of carbs. She's in it.
On the hatch.
Not grits. Grit.
Yeah, not grits. Yeah, definitely not. So 129.3. Tuesday, 125.6. 3.7 pound drop. Okay. I see you. She ain't playing. I think you
Yeah.
sent photos to me that day too.
Yeah.
And I was
But
like,
it was a line of not getting excited again, right?
yes, because I remember that was so funny. So sends me photos. I see the weigh-in in the sheets, but she doesn't know that. We don't talk about it.
You don't have to wait.
We don't talk about weight, right? We're just riding the wave. How many times did we say that over the course of 3 weeks? So okay, run it again. Later in the day, I don't know, we were chatting about something. You're like, also, did you see the new low? I was like, I see everything, Jennah.
Heck yeah.
So, all right, we run it back again. 123.6 on Wednesday, 2 pound drop, 6 pounds from Monday. I'm like, okay, anything now is just so every day I'm just like, all right, we just need to get through one more day.
You and I
Don't turn
both.
around on me. Don't turn around on me. Don't turn around on me. Thursday, 120.8. 2 days out, Jennah goes, should I pack my bags? Am I going or what? Like, well, we got one more day. So 129 to 120 on Thursday. Jennah, because we didn't we would talk about the check-in and kind of call it a day.
Yeah.
How are you feeling this week? Because you're seeing this stuff happen, right? After every morning waking up, stepping on the scale, defeat, step on the scale, defeat, step on the scale, defeat. Now you're seeing this happen. What's going through your head?
That fine line, like I did not let myself get excited. I quite literally did not pack my bags until Thursday evening because I did not tell myself I was going to the show, which is why it's crazy to, peak weeks usually like the hype, the adrenaline, everything, but it wasn't. And it was that like literally
Stoic.
like one day at a time, quite literally, because
Yep.
like I was like, are we going? And I'm like, I don't know. Stay tuned for tomorrow's checking. Like literally, I don't know.
Yep.
I think when you get that lean, you can feel it. Like I just felt tight 24/7 because I didn't have carbs in me, right? So like I
Yep.
just felt tight and I felt, depleted and I could see my face was coming in, like just little
Oh
things.
yeah.
So like I didn't have the doubts of was the scale going to be up because I felt confident that the scale was progressively going down.
Yep. Yep. So, that Thursday, obviously you checked in photos and everything like that, like looking noticeably better,
Yeah.
right? Like across the board, upper body, lower body, front to back, like you could just see it, right? Like it was just better. So Friday, you know, Friday was kind of open-ended, right? Like I remember I think Thursday you're like, do I get carbs tomorrow? And I was like, we'll see.
Yeah, I know. Do I have hope?
Yeah. Um, so 120.8 on the Thursday, 119.6 on the Friday. So officially sub 120. All right. So Friday was basically like, I think I gave you 2 meals and then I was like, hey, check in. We'll let you know the next meal. Check in, let you know the next meal. Like Friday, we legit had no plan. I
Turn it
basically,
on me one meal at a time.
pretty much, it was like, okay, pack the shit that we'll probably need and I'll tell
Yeah.
you how much.
That's what you were like checking at what time are you getting at the hotel? And I was like 1:30 and then we hit traffic and I was like, Connor, drive faster. Like I'm hungry. I need to check in.
I need honey or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do those
So,
meals look like on Friday then? Were you afraid to reintroduce carbs?
yeah, talk about that. Were you worried?
Me personally,
Yeah. So it was like, okay, we've done no carbs for all these days, and you've looked better. Then it's like, all right, we are gonna carb load. How you feeling?
I think because I physically felt depleted and like
Sure.
I like I think I was like a year ago 100% I would have been terrified and I also know there's like that mind correlation with like everything. So
Yeah.
I was no, I feel like literally my motto is like in Libre we trust. Like if you told me you could give me 275 carbs and I'd wake up tighter a year ago, I would have been like, there's no way I'm not eating that many carbs. Like I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't eat that many carbs. But
Yeah.
I was like, no, like I will eat whatever I'm told and I will just trust the process. So
Yeah.
was I scared? No, but I think it's because I kept seeing the lows and I think I felt depleted. So I was like, if this doesn't work, like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like physically, you were like, this will probably do a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Dan. So to answer your question, it was basically like I kept it simple, stuff that's easy to measure, especially like I knew she was traveling. So it was like rice cakes, honey, small servings of like chicken for protein sources. And then um, pretty much like rice cakes and honey was like all we did because it was so easy to track. Like, all right, here's 50 carbs, here's 50 carbs, here's 20 carbs. And
And
yeah,
you
we
could
just,
easily incrementally, yeah.
yeah, basically. So I think we closed out, I don't have the number in front of me, but I think we closed out around like 240 carb. Um, Yeah, so similar refeed numbers that what we've done before. So again, it was kind of like that, like yes, it seemed kind of sporadic across the day, but it was based on historically what we'd done before. Like it wasn't like I was going to be like, all right, Jenna, 500 carb, you've depleted. Like, no, we're not doing anything stupid. Let's do the least room for error, right? So then wakes up the next morning. So 119.6 on Friday. We did the load 118.8. So by the numbers, 11 pounds from Monday to show day, and just shy of 20 pounds from our 134 point something high like 2 weeks prior.
Wild.
Craziness. Um, Not that it matters, but show day was pretty tame. 2 or 3 meals before stage, 200 carb or so, and looked insane. Talk to me about how you felt on show day and how you looked. Could you see what you were?
You mean like physique wise?
Yeah, like did you look at yourself and be like, "Oh shit, like
Um,
I'm cooking right now."
yes
Are
and
you
no.
too humble for that?
No, I'm not too humble. I woke up that morning, it was like I kept saying I feel like a little boy. Like I don't think I've weighed 120 since grade 5. Like I'm just not built like that. I'm not like it's like my left leg. So I'm like I just feel
Small.
like I just felt like tight and small. Was excited to eat and I wasn't scared to eat, which I thought I would be kind of like scared to eat on show day because I was like, okay, I'm tight, let's stay tight. But I was also like, no, give me food. So I don't know. Like I think because you switched up honey and maple syrup, and I was like, oh, we're making changes now.
Canadian secret.
I
That was
remember I remember you asked and I was like, I just want to try it.
I mean, I wasn't upset about it, but I was just like, is this like what's going on here? Is he messing with me?
Yeah,
Um, no, so I was like, huh, but no, it was just I think I would eat and then I would kind of feel not bloated, but when you're so lean, you can feel everything happening, right? So I'm like, oh
yeah,
boy, I love to digest. And then I was kind of feeling like, do I eat this Reese's Pieces before I go on stage, or is it gonna make me below? Like I was having those like thoughts, and then
sure.
Alex was like, took a video and showed me, and he's like,
Do it.
yeah, like okay.
Yeah,
So I didn't,
shout out to Alex.
yes, I didn't feel like ready until Alex showed me a video of myself pumping up, and I finally could see the
Yeah,
veins. I was having a really hard time getting a pump, but then when I did, Alex hyped me up, and I was like, "All right, we're ready."
yeah,
So yes, no,
yeah, yeah, that's fair. So the question becomes, right, how did this happen? How did this work? So I'm a big like psychology nut too. I find that subject matter very interesting. And there's this idea that when you have a deep belief in something, even if it's not on paper what makes sense, if you believe it'll work, there's a more likelihood that it will.
hmm
So I was telling another client about it because I was talking to a client of mine about it, and I said, I think if I told Jennah this will work 100%, but you can't eat. So let's say Sunday, right? You're like, I want to do the show. I want to do the show. I said, okay, this will work 100%, but you can't eat anything until the show. But guarantee we'll get what we want. If you believe that that would work, you would do it. And it would yield a positive result. So the one thing that I think worked so well was that you proposed this idea, right? You said depletion, screw it. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Full send. Let's get it. That was your idea. And I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens. So I think that, the psychology of it all, of like throughout this process of the last couple weeks, was like defeat, frustration. Why isn't this working? I'm doing everything I can, but it's still not working. And then it just kind of reinforces this like, I don't want to use negative headspace, but just like this like funk of like, man, like, ugh,
yeah,
every day, why? I'm not, if I was consciously not eating on plan, not doing my cardio, it's an easier pill to swallow because you're like, I know why this isn't working.
yeah,
But Jennah was militant about doing everything properly, and we still weren't getting the results. So then it just creates this like cascade of, negative feedback, right? But then you were like, I have an idea. Let's see what happens. And then every day was like reinforcing that idea you had was working.
Yeah.
And I truly, this was one of the craziest things I'd ever seen. Not only through that peak week of losing what you did, but just that like, kind of like 2 16 17 day period of like genuinely doing almost an entire prep on scale of weight loss in that
Mhm.
period of time.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Yeah. And I feel like the psychology component does make sense too. I also feel like you said, that weekend we didn't have any plan. Like I didn't binge eat. I mean, we went out for dinner, and did I eat chicken wings? Absolutely. But I didn't like binge eat. I stayed on track the Sunday. The Friday I could have ate my feels, but I didn't, because I think subconsciously in my head I was
There's a
like there's
smidge of hope.
a smidge of hope, and I'm gonna kick myself in the ass if I, binge eat on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I get to Monday and I'm like up 10 pounds, and I'm like, well, there goes that hope, right?
Yeah.
But maybe that was a mental diet break that I needed. Like, I don't know, but I just, the way it all happened, I'll take it. But wild, yes. I still don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, anything that kind of springs into head after hearing that whole process?
I mean, it's just wild. We compared it to a roller coaster. I think we were sending roller coaster gifs in our group chat when we were talking about this whole thing.
I'm glad I could make
Um, yeah, it's wild what the body can do, what can happen, and um, yeah, it's crazy. Still, probably still have questions like, was it something else? Was I sick? Was I? But
Well,
yeah,
oh
that
yeah, good point. Because
yeah,
we did get blood work done,
Yes, we did.
and it was
That,
perfectly fine.
yeah,
mhm.
Because
Yeah,
that was the other thing. Not that I was like, not I was hoping to see something, but at least like some insight of like, is something
yeah,
off here? Because it's just not adding up.
yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got that done ASAP, because I was like, if there's a will, there's a way. Like, maybe it's a quick fix that we don't know. And
yeah,
people had asked me too, like, well, what did you guys like? Sodium? Did you pull sodium? Did you cut sodium? Did you water load? Did you cut water? Like, how did you lose that much weight? And we didn't water cut. We didn't, right? Like,
hmm yeah. Talk to me about, because I've talking to people and on podcasts and stuff about like when I've had to rely on my coach for hardships and challenges and stuff like that. Can you talk about like, not to gas me up, but I mean just like from an athlete having someone in their corner and navigating like what that kind of was for you throughout this process?
absolutely. It was literally game changing. Like, I think if, like, not to be like I think we have a good relationship in the sense of, like, I can talk pretty openly with you, and I feel like it's
Yep.
nice to have that, because if I didn't feel that way with my coach, obviously they wouldn't be a great coach. But I think I would have just been like, you know what, this isn't it. Or I think many coaches would have been like, more cardio, less food. Like, your body's gonna, there's gonna be a slingshot reaction eventually. And it's like, well, I mean, we saw for 2 weeks my body was screaming on all fours to stop. So I don't
Yeah.
know, So I think quite literally trusting, like, in Leroy we trust is my motto. Like, Connor's gonna say it 100 times. He's like, just trust Leroy. I'm like, I am. Like, there's no point did I ever question anything, which is so nice. Like, it's like, shut your brain off. And you told me that, I think, pretty early on, because you got to know me. Um, and it is, I just need to shut my brain off and quite literally trust. And we get to a point where, you have the goggles on. You think, like, if I was coaching myself, I would have depleted the shit out of myself for probably 3 weeks, and it probably would have just kept getting worse, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah. 7 hour, 700 calories, 2 hours of cardio, Stairmaster. Like, I'll do it.
And I think, like, I think you've done podcasts on this and stuff, is like, if I was using your typical coach who does cookie cutter plans, or Chat GBT, go on the Stairmaster for 4 hours and sit in the sauna for two. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think you literally, like, having that relationship and, like, being open and transparent. I wish it was me binge eating, so that I could have quite literally just been like, yo, I just ate a box of Oreos. Let's fix it. But
Yeah.
that wasn't it. And I think it's huge. I think you genuinely believe that I wasn't binge eating, because I think a lot of coaches would have been like, I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you, let's throw the towel in, because clearly you're not in it. And it's like, no, I'm in it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing. So I think it was just, you literally just need to have someone that you work well with and trust, and
Yeah.
it's a hard plan. And yeah.
Yeah. that dynamic, and Dan's worked with his coach for a number of years, and I me with Cliff for going on 8. Like I think when you have that vibe with somebody, and like you know not every coach is perfect for every person, right? And it's taken me a long time to understand that. Like I'm not going to be perfect for everybody, and but the people you do kind of vibe with, like that ability to work together, and like you said, like you tell me anything, right? Like spit it out, because that's only going to help our dynamic work better. And Dan, I'm sure you've sent Josh novels, and I've sent Cliff novels, because like at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, right? Like me and you wanted what to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay, no secrets. Like let's figure out what is happening, or try to figure out, or anything you need to tell me. Like you swear, like that's
Yeah.
what coaching is, right? And people always come at like, oh, AI is going to replace coaches and this and that and the other. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, if Jennah was talking to AI about what went on, I don't see a world where that would have made sense and worked, right? And Dan, you've probably had your challenges that Josh has helped you through, and Cliff's been my sounding board for stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
ultimately what this is all about, right? And when it does work, I mean, we saw it, right? We saw it work.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy.
No, and I
Yeah,
think
I've been working.
go ahead, Dan.
I was just say I've been working with Josh for over 5 years, and probably like 10% of my check-in is like nuts and bolts because most of it's just like, yeah, I followed the plan, and then I just ramble about my life for the
Yep,
remaining the remaining
for sure.
whatever 10 minutes that I'm sending him a check-in. But yeah,
Yeah, no, 100%.
And
Jenny, you're gonna say something?
where I was just gonna say like, and just one more thing, Lyra, like I think the big thing too is like you're a good balance of you're not negative in any way. Like even like when I was I think it was very evident, and I would be like, "Yo, check out this check-in." You were like, "Okay, well, like there was never like, oof." Like it was just like, "Okay, like Zen, go for a walk
Yep.
today. Like, let's keep the ball rolling." Like, and I think that is huge because if you would have been like, "Oof, yeah, you're looking rough. Like we gotta stop." Well, I would have been like, "Okay," and
Yeah.
then that probably could have spiraled me into a way worse place, right? So I think it's just guy. It's huge for clients.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to know how to deliver the information, right? And kind of be that sounding board, right? Like and you, and I'm sure most of, well, probably all of my clients can attest, like I'm not the hard ass coach.
Yeah.
I'm not going to breathe down your neck. I'm not going to yell at you, right? If I need to deliver information of like, we need to turn it up a bit, I will, but I'm not going to be like, Jennah, like, what are you doing? Like, what is happening right now? Because that's not helpful. And I think, like, I know I wouldn't respond to that effectively, right? So I think that's why I coach the way I do and how I communicate, because I know for me, like, if something's going wrong, like, we'll address it, but let's focus on a solution, not so much of like, you're screwing up, you're screwing up. Like, it's not helping me. I already feel bad enough. Like, don't make me feel worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do have a quick question for Jenna, or maybe not a quick question, but you said you have two sisters who are also bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Did you talk with them about this whole situation?
Yes, definitely. Taylor is my older, well, they're both my older sisters actually. Taylor had competed for a while in figure and she's kind of like came to my shows, Leroy knows her. Yeah, she's very involved. Like she would just be like she was like my sounding board between her and Leroy. Like she would call me daily, but it wouldn't be like, "Hey, what's your weight?" It would be like, "How are you today?" And bad day, and she'd be like, "Okay, got it, I'll let you go." Like she's the best. She put up with a lot, but she wasn't she was very much like Leroy knows what I was never questioning Leroy, but she was very like Leroy's probably right. Like your body's saying no. She's like, I'm sure. She kept just saying, I'm sure it's a slingshot effect. Your body will catch up. And then I was like, well, we're 2 weeks in, and I'm not catching up. So
You're like, I don't even know what that means anymore. What are you
yeah,
talking about?
I'm pretty swollen. No, she was very like, yeah, maybe. And even at the end when I was like, my hormones were whacked. Like I was just like, some days I would cry, and I would just be like, why am I crying? And she was like, yeah, girl, like your hormones are out of whack. And she was great. She was like, honestly, it's gonna come down to like you either grind and do the show or you make the choice now to pull out. And she's pulled out of a show before too. She pulled out of nationals a week out, and that killed her. So I think she's like, I get it. I totally get it. But if you're not going to be in a place where you're going to be
Yeah.
proud, there's no point in killing yourself. Like the
No.
stage will be there. And a year ago, I would have been like, oh no, I'm going on that stage. But I think it was a huge growth for me, not to like toot my own horn, but to be
Yeah.
like, no, like, sure, I could step on the stage and sure, I look good ish, but I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to be confident. I'm going to be terrified waking up the next morning. Like, no part of it would be enjoyable for me.
Yep.
Yeah, Chandler was very like Leroy knows what he's doing. He's done a great job. Pete Juna Stephanie's great. Like just trust him. Your body's exhausted. But she
Yeah.
was also like, your body is so sensitive. Great.
You need to sit down.
Yeah, because they've done like the preps, but they were both like, sorry, your weight was what today? Like, I'm like, yeah. So they've never experienced anything quite like that before. But
Part of what I was wondering too is like if they experience anything, but sounds like no. So no, it's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy. So let's close this out with how you feeling post show? You
good.
good?
Overall, so good. Yeah, feeling good. I feel like we've got some new goals. I saw you put some new goals on our sheets, so for your trust. Last season you go.
Yeah, it was cool. As stressful as it was and as challenging as it was, I think it was a really good learning experience for me. Not only, and even like I don't want to say not as importantly, like obviously like from a prep standpoint, but to learn how to communicate and talk through this kind of stuff with athletes, I think was very helpful for me. Um, because the nuts and bolts of dieting and bodybuilding and this and that, like it's a pretty short list of things to do that you just manipulate as time goes on.
Yeah.
But when this stuff happens, it's like, okay, how do you talk to somebody? How do you work with somebody? How do you navigate this kind of stuff? Because it's easy when everything's going well,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You don't
Totally.
learn anything like that, right? Like leading into Stephanie's, like I didn't like I knew you, but like now I know you really well, right? I know what makes you tick. I know what motivates you. I know what stresses you out, what frustrates you. Like those are the things that like long term only make this stuff better, right? And I think it was as challenging as it was super valuable for both of us to kind of go through and learn like relatively early in our coaching relationship. So, when
Yeah.
when next prep comes around and, should ever anything like this kind of happen, it's like, okay, like now we kind of know how to potentially navigate through it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right,
Thanks.
Jennah, thank you for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
If people want to ask you questions or accuse your natty status, where do they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Jennah McIntyre.
Come at me.
At me.
She already got the not natty accusations, which we love. That's when we know we
For
made it.
sure.
And then I'm miserable too. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. All right, people, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And if you have questions about this kind of stuff, like, whether it's pertaining to Jennah as an athlete or me as a coach, don't hesitate to ask because, I think there could be people who are in similar situations or kind of maybe hitting roadblocks through prep that, like, hey, I'm kind of struggling right now. Any advice? Like, don't hesitate to ask because we'd be happy to help. Peace. We'll see you guys in the next one.